Hey everyone, it's Kino here. Thanks for joining me on this Yoga Sutra study course. Come to a comfortable seated position, close your eyes. Take a moment, let your hands rest down, and gently bring your mind into a state of presence, receptivity, and openness. Allow yourself a deep breath in, and as you exhale, let your eyes gently open. Good. And this class will be all about Yoga Sutra 1.6. That's book number 1, Yoga Sutra number 6. As Patanjali has been presenting the argument and the foundation for what you could understand to be the science of yoga, if you've been following along with this course sequentially, the last sutra talked about that there are 5 different types of vrittis and that these are klishta and aklishta. So while the previous sutra noted that the fruits of every vritti may lead to suffering or awakening or be filled with pain or be filled with healing, Patanjali now moves on and talks about, well, what are those 5 vrittis? What are those 5 disturbances, waves, obstacles in the field of the chitta? Let's go ahead and start off with the Sanskrit. Pramana-viparyaya-vikalpa-nidra-smrtayah. And now let's repeat that after me. Pramana-viparyaya-vikalpa-nidra-smrtayah. And again. Pramana-viparyaya-vikalpa-nidra-smrtayah. And let's do the whole sutra once all the way through. Pramana-viparyaya-vikalpa-nidra-smrtayah. Good. So these are the 5 categories of vrittis, and you could think about this almost as 5 different types of storms that may come through the ocean of the chitta. It's just an analogy. Now we'll move into sort of understanding each of these. Let's start off with pramana. Pramana means right knowledge. Patanjali defines what that is later. However, let's just take a moment and think about each of these from the perspective of klishta and aklishta. If you have right knowledge, knowledge of the truth, and this is based in klishta vritti, sometimes the knowledge of the truth doesn't always lead you into peace, awakening, and realization. Aklishta vritti, the aklishta realization of pramana, right knowledge, will lead you into awakening and healing. You can see that the truth is sometimes rather painful, and taking action based on right knowledge doesn't always lead you into the most harmonious of situations. However, the yogi stays true to the path, and this is Patanjali just again recognizing which types of vrittis lead into which types of experiences. So we have pramana, right knowledge, and this again can be klishta and aklishta. Now we're discussing the second vritti, viparyaya, wrong knowledge or error of perception, when you get it wrong. And remember, this can be both harmful and harmless, klishta and aklishta. The third of the vrittis, pramana-viparyaya-vikalpa. Vikalpa is really interesting because this is often translated as imagination, but I would actually like to include the definition of this as metaphorical thinking. Imagination comes a little bit later and is actually considered part of memory. Metaphorical thinking or metaphorical language is actually when your words have no basis in reality. I'm sure you can imagine or remember rather some people in your life whose words often have no basis in reality. It's not exactly what I mean here, I just had to slip in a little joke. And if we think about metaphorical language, a really good expression of that is time flies, or it's raining cats and dogs. Now, I've never once gone outside and seen cats and dogs dropping from the heavens above. Another experience of that, we often talk about, again, time flies. So we never really see a clock with little wings flying by, but there are all these little expressions that are based in metaphorical language, which have absolutely nothing to do with reality. If you kind of put your mind to that, I'm sure you can come up with many of them. Really think about this again as metaphorical language or fantastical language, language that is totally based and divorced from the reality of what that representation in words actually means. Sometimes people call this delusion, but it's not necessarily delusional because it is expressing something that is actually right. So when you say it's raining cats and dogs, what you're meaning to say is that it's raining really hard out there. But we add that little bit of the metaphorical flourish to the language to bring, maybe a little bit of poetry into our expression. So this is why we want to think about this again. It's metaphorical language. So Pramana-viparyaya-vikalpa-nidra. Nidra, the vritti of nidra is the vritti of sleep. All right, so the vritti of sleep. So think about how could sleep, and we're talking about deep sleep here and not the sleep that is when we have dreams, because dreams are also part of the last one, memory. So how can we experience nidra when we have klishta and aklishta? Well, if you have the right amount of sleep, that could leave you feeling refreshed. But if you have too much sleep, the experience of heaviness or dullness or lethargy could really start to settle into the body. So we see that even deep sleep, maybe you can get too much of it sometimes, all right? Now, we didn't do the aklishta and klishta versions of verbal or metaphorical language. Well, if you use the metaphorical language, that's actually not true. So instead of, it could lead you to a false perception. It could lead you into pain at the same time. If what you're saying is actually true, then it could lead you into a right experience. So we can see that these are pretty easy to understand. And if you start thinking about your life and your own thoughts, you'll notice that things are, your own thoughts are sort of falling in line with each of these. You're either moving into right knowledge, you're moving into error of perception, you're using metaphorical language, or you're experiencing deep sleep. The nidra state is very interesting because this state where the vrittis are suppressed and there are no thoughts and there's no disturbance of the mind. This is not an enlightened state, but is actually a dreamless sleep sort of state. And finally, we have the last of the vrittis, smrtayah. So remember, in Sanskrit, as the noun declines, this is a case ending of smrti. So we're looking at smrti as memory. And memory is so wide and includes so much. So when we're looking at memory, we're actually including dreams, because we remember our dreams. We're including imagination. So the way that traditionally it's said, according to yoga philosophy, that imagination works, and you can agree or disagree with this, sort of just yoga philosophy and how it presents imagination, is that imagination works by you remembering different features and then combining them together to create a new, sort of a new and creative presentation of those memories. For example, if you remembered an elephant and then you remembered a truck, and then you were to combine those two memories, so you have elephant and truck, then suddenly you see the body of an elephant with wheels for legs, and you've created this thing that doesn't exist in reality, but it's based on memory, right? So you've somehow remembered two objects and sort of merged them together. Memory is also important because this is the vehicle by which you will remember the words of your teacher, the words of scripture, and important sacred books that will keep you aligned onto the yogic path. And perhaps the deepest memory that really exists is the knowledge of Purusha, the knowledge of the spirit, which always, always rests somewhere inside every sentient being. And that's something that can never be erased or forgotten, but eventually will get uncovered. So here we have the 5 different types of vrittis: pramana, right knowledge; viparyaya, error of knowledge or error of perception, meaning you got it wrong; vikalpa, which is metaphorical language; nidra, a state of deep and dreamless sleep; smrtayah, which includes memory and all of the things that we remember and everything that is based on memory. As we move on into the study of the sutras, these 5 categorizations of the vrittis will start to come up, and they're useful in terms of, again, thinking about where you're coming from and also where you're directing your energy, which vritti is prominent moment to moment. Bring your hands together. Allow yourself to tune in. Thank you so much for joining me on this Yoga Sutra study course. I hope you keep the seed of true spiritual practice in your heart every day. Namaste.